Hello and welcome to the program. And this is a monologue that I have prepared, and it takes me from the 80s to where we are right now. Remembering Britain as we were when I entered. I love Britain and I would never change Britain for any other country, not even for my homeland. When I left Africa, I told my parents that I am going, and as the Lord has moved me like Abraham, and I'm going to go and I will not return to this land. And that's where I ended that conversation with my parents. So now the changing phases of UK governments. Since I entered Britain, we have had 3 successive governments. And when I entered this country in the United Kingdom, the Conservative were in power. And later on, the Conservative came back into power. And then in late 90s, the Labour Party came into power, which was led by Tony Blair. And the first phase was by Margaret Thatcher. I cannot dispute Margaret Thatcher's rule, because at that time I find nothing wrong, because everything was going swimmingly well. When I entered, let me just give you a rundown of how flourishing this country was. First of all, there's no problem in registering for medical treatment for local GP. Everything was well. Okay. But before I get there, I must explain that I came through the normal route. I took visa, but I did not require visa because I came from a Commonwealth country where you can enter without visa. But I just say, okay, let me just get visa. So I had no problem there. Okay. So now Margaret Thatcher was in power. I find nothing wrong with her ruling. During that time, education, like further education, was free. You get grants and you are paid by installments to go through higher education. Housing, there was no problem. Jobs, you can move from one job to another job. Things were swimmingly well. And for NHS doctors, you can walk into a doctor's surgery just like that and get treated. There's no need for any appointment. And the doctor's surgery were open from Monday to Saturday. So this is how we lived in the 80s I came in just early in the 80s, and up to when Margaret Thatcher left power. And in fact, if you are sick, you can just phone your GP and he will do home visit. And there were no long hospital appointments, very short hospital appointments for operations and things like that. Emergency service, less than 30 minutes, you'll be seen. I must explain this to you. In the 80s, I watched a film, a documentary made by Julius Stevenson and others regarding the march. When I saw that film, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was about African people who were coming to Europe. Okay, I'll just read this from what the storyline is about. A group of several thousand Africans migrate westward across northern Africa and sail across the Strait of Gibraltar to Europe. Their message is, we are poor because you are rich. So this was the mentality. As far as I know, what my parents told me, coming from a colonized country, when the British people left my country, they left us with enough money. My father said that every man, woman, and child could own a house and a car. So my country wasn't left poor when the British left. So whatever these Africans are saying in that documentary is far from the truth. So let's fast forward to the 90s when Tony Blair arrived in position. Then we begin to see the influx of migrants. I could remember one day my husband and myself we were coming home around Whitechapel area, and there were these posters that was marked, we are coming to take over. So husband and myself we discussed about this thing, and it was like a joke, but truly it wasn't a joke when I looked back and assessed what they were talking about. So bear that in mind. We'll get back to that later in this video. So during the Blair government, we begin to find out that the first thing they did, we had to make appointment to see our GPs. Saturday surgery no longer exists. We begin to see longer waiting lists for hospital treatments such as operation, because I can remember myself having to undergo a critical operation, and they gave me 2 years appointment. And this was may I just say, this was like the woman with the issue in the Bible. And that was what I was going through, and I became very anemic and all this sort of thing. And the hospital gave me 2 years appointment to be seen in first hand. My husband could not wait any longer. He paid privately for me to go for the operation. But then I went to see my local member of parliament, who actually speed up the hospital appointment, and they are in the second phase to attend clinic. I was then given a quicker appointment to review my situation. So this was what was going on. And then we begin to see slowly and slowly there were people, the migrants were coming in, and things begin to change. It becomes very harder to get jobs. They cancelled grants for students. Many students, whether you are born here or not, it becomes very difficult to go to university without money. Or if you go to university, you'll have to pay a very high fee for your studies. And imagine you are doing a course which takes 5 years. My course took 5 years, which I did for my master's. But anyway, this is not about me. It's about the changing phases of the United Kingdom. Then after Tony Blair's government, Gordon Brown came in a short space of time, which I think Tony Blair was pushed out. But it is the politicians who are in the government who know what they want. So during that election, Gordon Brown lost and Labour lost. So then Conservative did not have enough seat to form a government. So they had to do coalition with the Liberal Democrats. When the Liberal Democrats came in, there was so much going on and things began to get difficult. A lot of homelessness, joblessness, and things begin to get from bad to worse. So I want to read from my Bible what the Lord said about strangers in your land. And then this reading is coming from Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33. And it reads, "And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, you shall not vex him." And I believe that this is what the British government was doing. The British government was accepting in good faith many people that are coming in. But they do not understand the concept of these people who are coming in, and not much has been done to research those who are coming in. So I would read another passage which tells us about letting in strangers. The Bible talks about trusting strangers. And in this passage in John 10, verse 5, Jesus is talking about the sheep. That if the sheep doesn't know you, he knows that you are not the master, the shepherd. He will run away. So now let's look at what it says in verse 5. It says, "And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of stranger. Okay, furthermore, in verse 10 it says, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. Now, many people would have taken this out of context, and I brought this in for us to know that not all strangers that come into your land are coming because they love you, because they want to help you build your land, because they want to help you develop anything. Many come to steal, kill, and destroy, as we are seeing in today's migration, heavy migration. Okay. We are told to verify every stranger to find out the root, how these strangers lived before they came into your country. But in today's immigration, people just come, or our government just invites people, come and work, when there are so many people qualified in this country to work. Pay them the right money. You don't have to pay pittance by bringing people over. In fact, you are spending more money bringing them over than you would have spent in raising salaries up for people to take up the jobs that are vacant. So how did we get here? How did we get here? Socialist policies. Policies that do not intend to build, they intend to destroy. And the way I see this, many politicians are not looking after to care for anyone. They're looking after themselves, their own pockets. So in that sense, they care less about what is happening in the country. Because how could you allow over 500,000 people to pass through the barrier in by the sea to enter a small island without checking them properly? And now we get this. Over 5 months, we've been seeing matches going on in the city, which is very intimidating. I've never seen anything like this since I entered Britain. I know I was here when the poll tax riot was, but quickly Margaret Thatcher put an end to it. Quickly. Didn't go very far. There are ways to protest. But these people were protesting for their country. But those who are protesting now, they are protesting for a country very far away from the United Kingdom. So where does their interest lie? Where does their interest lie? Did they come in to infiltrate our country? Or did they come in with the hope to destroy this country and get away with it? Well, we can see from the film that Juliet Stevenson had made regarding the march in the 1990s, the mentality of those who were coming. They were coming with the intention to come and work or to come and take. So it is high time for our government to halt this immigration uh, um, to halt this immigration roller coaster as an election hype. It's not working, and it will never work. You have policies in place. Use them. Use the policies that are there to apply to this situation. Remember, you can accept strangers in your land, but you have to treat them as you treat your native in your land. But when you are treating them as you treat the natives in your land, these people take advantage, and that is what you need to stop. Since I know that Britain is no longer following the Bible as the Lord directs, they make mistakes. So I'm praying that there will be a leader who will be for God, who will know the Bible, who will use the concept of the Bible to rule, to enrich the United Kingdom again. So I pray all of us will take note how Britain deteriorated. Till next time, it's Catherine. Do like, share, and subscribe. God bless and keep you. Bye-bye.